Hello and welcome. This is the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas, and in this episode, we are talking about the week of December 4th. Hey y'all, if you're looking for an astrological map, compass, and companion for the coming year, check out our 2024 Astro Planner. It's filled with rituals, reflections, exercises, astro cheat sheets, planetary movements, and daily and monthly calendars that allow you to map out your year, track your intention for each day, and make the most of 2024's astrology as it unfolds. You can order yours at chani.com, but warning, it sold out last year, so act fast. All things considered, this week's astrology appears like a bit of a helpful situation. I hope that that's how it actually lands with us. So on Monday, we've got Venus. We've talked about Venus so much this year. This has been like a highly Venusian year. Not to say that Venus changing signs isn't a normal thing, because it is, but Venus is moving into Scorpio, where it has a little bit of a rough time. But this is what I love about Venus and Scorpio. In Scorpio, Venus has to do its job in the opposite way. And planets that are in signs, we call it being in its detriment or in its exile. Planets that are in exile kind of have to act like, okay, I don't have the resources that I need, so I've got to do things from the outside in a way. I've got to be the outsider, or I am the outsider. So Venus is a planet of love and relationships and connection. And if you remember, earlier this year, it went retrograde and it really kind of dominated a lot of the astrological language for a long time. And then we had 2 eclipses in October that were both ruled by Venus. So it's just been like a big Venusian year. And Venusian years that are really dominated by Venus signatures, are all about consensus, disruption to consensus, equity, what gets in the way of equity, justice, peace, disharmony, relationships, connection, and disconnection. So we're still parsing out those themes. Venus isn't like super active right now. It's just that it entered into a sign that it struggles in. So in a way, it pulls a little bit of focus, but it's not the same as what we just went through. However, Venus in Scorpio definitely has a very deep well of feelings. This is not a sign that moves fast. This is a sign that moves in certainty. And it takes a while to feel certain and definitely to feel safe. Scorpio is not a sign. I'm not saying people that have their sun in Scorpio, but I'm saying Scorpio as a sign, as its own archetype, is skeptical, is deep, is penetrating, is mysterious, and is definitely one that can wait. And it can wait and wait and wait. So if we're talking about Venus, aka relationships, in Scorpio, like a Venus in Scorpio placement isn't necessarily going to be like quick to get everything off one's chest and to like be immediate with the big declarations of love. Venus in Scorpio is like, I might be obsessed with you, but you probably won't know it for a while because I'll keep it under wraps. Like there's a lot going on under the surface. So if we are being asked, and this is a short trip, like again, it's not big astrology, it's just the biggest thing that's going on this week. But over the next 3 weeks, as Venus zooms through Scorpio, we're being asked to do relationship and pleasure, because that's also what Venus is in charge of, and art and beauty in a different way. In a way that's contrary, or we're being asked to be our own contrarian. And so if you usually go about seeking pleasure, joy, love, beauty, art in one way, this might be an invitation to do it in a different way, to do it in a way that's kind of unique for you. It's a time to try something new. It also, yes, might be a time where we feel excessive emotions because Scorpio might not let you know it, but it's a super sensitive sign. It feels very deeply. So the depths of emotion that we might experience in this little chunk of time, just for like the next 3 weeks in our relationships, will most likely also be heightened. I will say, though, that as Venus moves through the week, or as the week moves on and Venus does its thing, Tuesday brings us a Venus trine Saturn, which is a really nice stabilizing aspect. It is giving us the signal that the beginning of this week is a good time to make relationship commitments, or where our relationships will be feeling a sense of groundedness. There's a sense of ease here and a sense of structure. So there's like a structure for the depth of emotion, which I like. It's a really important thing for when we're making art and when we are, creating situations where relationships could flourish. We need structure. We need to know what the commitment is. And it does feel like good commitment energy and deep because it's Venus in Scorpio. Then on Wednesday, Neptune stations direct, which is not like huge headlines, astrologically speaking. It does so once a year. Stations retrograde, stations direct every 6 months. It's retrograde for about 6 months a year. So after that, it stations direct. But it does pull focus. So this is a good time to dream. It's a good time to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. And it's a good time to remember what the ultimate ideal version of something in our life could be. It's important to dream. And Neptune reminds us of that. It's also really good for creativity, I think. Then on Thursday, a couple of days before Mercury stations retrograde, like 5 days before, Mercury's going to station retrograde on the 12th of December. So there's that. But right before it does, it makes a trine to Jupiter, which is really good news. And the interesting thing is it's going to station retrograde and retrograde back to make another trine to Jupiter. So this isn't the end of the story. It's like we get an opportunity or we are introduced to someone or something, and there's an opening here that we probably won't be able to make happen or get back to until January, because Mercury is going to station retrograde. We're going to have more good news, though. It's like an interesting thing. It's like reviewing what is good in our life, or reviewing the good connections, or reviewing what is helpful, and reviewing people that can support us, or situations that feel abundant, supportive, and generative. That's what we're reviewing in these next couple of weeks. So Mercury makes this really lovely, helpful, expansive, good news kind of aspect to Jupiter on the 7th of December, and then again on the 18th of December, and then again in January. And it won't be until January that we get to really cash in on it, for lack of a better term. But just, make sure that you're taking notes, dog-earing the page, so that you remember to come back to it in the new year. And don't be worried if things don't feel like they're getting off the ground at the end of the year. A, it's the end of the year, so you probably won't. But B, Mercury is going to be retrograde for the last couple of weeks of the year, so it really is a good time to turn it down and to, hang it up and to say, we'll get back to this come January. And there's a lot of really good astrology in the second half of January that I talk all about in the year ahead readings on the Chani app. So make sure you listen to those. Okay, so that is the structure from Monday to Thursday. And then on Saturday, we have this really lovely aspect between Venus and Jupiter. It's a little hedonistic, yes. It could also be a little lucky, though. So again, I like this week because there's a lot of Venus action and Jupiter action, and everything feels supportive for the most part. Venus is in a sign that is opposite to what it likes to be in. So there is not as much readily accessible joy, but it is something that we want to dig into and work at a little bit, and that work can be really satisfying. So I think just focusing on what is satisfying about the connections we do make and the depth of intimacy possibly that we do feel. Now, Jupiter is in Taurus, which is Venus's sign. So them being in opposition to each other is, I think, helpful, because Venus is like, oh, yes, okay, that is where I usually come from. And so what could that mean for us? Well, it could mean that this weekend feels especially abundant and encouraging of having a good time. And it could be mirroring to us that there's like big reasons for celebration or connection or delights. Now, Scorpio is a secretive kind of sign, and Venus in Scorpio is not loud, and it's not a lot of PDA necessarily. I'm not saying people with this signature aren't, but there's something here that's like pleasures are coveted somewhat, or they're secretive, or they are, maybe not out in the open in a really obvious way. But when you dig into something, when you make the effort, and when you're willing to kind of delve into possibly deeper emotions or feeling in a deep way, it seems like this weekend opens up a whole kind of bevy of wonderful things. And we might just want to be going overboard this weekend, which, to whatever degree you actually want to do that, go for it. To whatever degree you're like, can't right now, then don't. But just know that we're probably going to be encouraged to go a little overboard than not this weekend. And listen, a lot of us might need that kind of release and relief and joy and pleasure and delight. So spread it around, share it, and I hope that it is something that buoys your spirits and lifts us all up a little or a lot. Next week, Mercury is stationing retrograde, but I like how it's beginning. I'm not saying I like how it's ending in the new year, but I like how it's beginning. It's beginning with like some good news attached to it. We are circling around something that is positive in nature and generative and productive. So we're winding down the year. Next week, we are talking about what we're going to review, but it's the perfect time to review. It's a perfect time to review life. Mercury is retrograde. It's the end of the year. So that's what we do. It's also the solstice coming in, not next week, but the week after. So more next week. Come back. We'll talk about it. Until then, I want to know, what does Venus in Scorpio feel like to you? Do you have that placement? Do you know somebody that does? What do you love about it? What's challenging about it? What is just like so satisfying about it? And take note of where it is in your chart right now. Where is Scorpio in your chart, and what does that mean for you? You can read your Venus in Scorpio horoscope on Chani.com or on the Chani app. And as always, you can listen to your weekly reading to get the full download about this. Thank you all so much for leaving us reviews in the App Store. I wanted to leave you with this one called one of the best astrology apps out there. Chani Nicholas is such a talented astrologer. Shout out to her and this amazing app. Reading my astrological profile felt like reading a book about myself. Such an incredible experience. It made me cry a couple of times. Of course, I am a Pisces moon after all, LOL. I felt like I finally understood some parts of myself that I had a hard time accepting before. Thank you, Chani. Thank you so much for listening. Sending you many, many Venusian blessings. Bye for now.